Appeared. That was Mrs. Ahunna Ezeakoa, who is the UN Assistant Secretary General and also the UNDP Regional Director for Africa, who had a sit-down with our colleague Amarachi Ubani, and she also, in that interview, spoke about the effect of the Trump tariffs on Africa and also Nigeria specifically. We're asking, where are the industries? Well, this morning we have joining us in our studios in Lagos, the President of the Nigeria American Chamber of Commerce, Alhaji Sharif Balogun. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Alquia. Thank you for having me. Good morning. Thank you, Alquia. Thank you for having me.
I was about to say, what an incident, happening just at the time when Nigeria and America are supposed to be celebrating how many years of doing business, but the Chamber is celebrating 65 years of doing business. Did this have were you afraid that this could have a dampener effect on the celebrations?
Well, thank you very much. Actually, it's interesting times, and I've had people ask me about this. I'm coming in as the 20th president of the chamber, which is going to happen at inaugural dinner tomorrow, and then which is also coinciding with the 65th anniversary of the chamber. And hopefully that will not have a dampening effect on the celebrations. It's been 65 years of bilateral relationship that's been mutually beneficial. But of course, we're in interesting times. The tariff has effects on worldwide trade. Also, certainly it will have effects on Africa. It will also have effects on Nigeria. But how do we navigate this is probably what we have to think about, what we have to do, and what lessons to be learned from it going forward, what should we be doing. So I think this is what it is presently.
So yes, tell us a bit more about the celebrations, because I believe that regardless of all that is happening, you have chosen to celebrate. So tell us some of the things that you'll be highlighting in the celebrations that are coming up, the 65th anniversary of the establishment of the Nigerian American Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, thank you so much. Like I said, it's going to be a 5-in-1 event, actually. First is the inauguration of the 20th president, which is myself. And then we're going to also be celebrating some distinguished Nigerians, organizations that have contributed towards the bilateral trade and also the Nigerian economy as a whole. And we'll also be unveiling a 3D of our new proposed headquarters of the Nigerian American Chambers of Commerce. And then, of course, looking at issues and companies that have contributed to Nigeria's America relationship, and there are quite a number of them. What they have done, what they are doing, and then how the American Chamber of Commerce also is going to continue to be the foremost bilateral chamber of commerce, and how also we're going to continue to find new ways, new partnership to increasing the trade between Nigeria and the U.S. Currently, our trade relationship in terms of figures with the U.S. stands at about $10 billion, of course, in favor of Nigeria. We have a deficit. I mean, the U.S. has a trade deficit with us, but we're looking at how we'll present a win-win situation in terms of products, activities that will continue to increase the trade between Nigeria and the U.S. So for us, the achievements over the past 65 years is one that is welcome, and we'll definitely celebrate this, and hoping that will also propel the next stage and moving on beyond $10 billion and targeting much bigger figures.
Mr. Balogun, you have told us about the highlights of what will be happening for the 65th anniversary. What I was hoping you'd highlight is some of the things that the Chamber of Commerce has been able to achieve over the last 65 years. What can Nigerians say, oh, this has been the result of having this Chamber of Commerce, and these are the benefits of keeping it and, making it grow even stronger?
Yes. Okay, we've had a diverse way of promoting these activities over the past 65 years. And like I have said, our export figures have increased because we have brought in our members to know what the U.S. requirements and markets are, have provided training on certification to be able to access this market. We have done business-to-business partnership, trade missions to the U.S., advocacy with various U.S. organizations, and who provide different kind of services like the USTDA, the USAID, the FDA, and that has ensured that our members and also the public, those who have reached out to us in providing these services to ensure that they get the service, they understand the market, and then of course we see it in the increased agricultural value of exports to the U.S. In the area of also textile. Also, we've seen our textiles going into the U.S. and the creative sector also. Recently, we hosted some of those who have made impact in the creative sector, and that's been part of the efforts of the chamber in bringing and celebrating them, ensuring that people get to know the opportunities in those sectors that are there. We've had various workshops on AGOA. We've played a prominent role in AGOA and ensuring that people or the companies understand what those are, how to take advantage of that scheme. And we have some success stories of companies that have been able to take part to using that AGOA scheme. We've also been involved back in ensuring that we get the AGOA renewed. But of course, with this new tariff regime, that has upended that. But of course, it's on pause for 90 days. But however, like I said, it's something that we have to look beyond, see how we can do value addition, provide finished product and not just primary raw material. And the chamber has been doing a lot in training companies to ensure that they do value addition and then finding the particular markets that will absorb those value-added products that they produce. So this journey is one that we've had testimony from our members whose trade volumes have increased, and we will continue to do so. And I think there's value in what we're doing, and we'll continue to do that.
Mr. Balogun, I mean, congratulations, 20th president. I'll be trying to get what your legacy project is going to be, for your time in office. But before that, let's take a look at these tariffs by the Trump administration. And you've been talking about the opportunities that these tariffs present to the Nigerian people. One of the few things I've heard you talk about is diversifying our exports. Just to get your thoughts on these opportunities that abound and how the Nigerian government can make the best of the situation.
Yeah, well, certainly the tariff presents an opportunity, especially for us in the agricultural sector, in the solid mineral sector, where we have advantage. We have a lot of energy minerals, minerals like lithium, cobalt, tantalum, manganese, and these are critical minerals that are needed in the energy sector. We call them energy minerals. So it provides an opportunity for us to look at. Our tariff level is at 14%. So if we add value to what we have and are able to export this, we'll have advantage over countries whose tariffs are much higher than what we have, and those are some of the countries that are exporting these critical minerals to the U.S. And so that gives us a comparative advantage. Agriculture, for one, which provides a large employment for us, and we're blessed with arable land that we have a lot of agri products that are needed. What we need to do is to add value to this, get them into finished products and semi-finished products and take advantage of that. Now, also saying 14%, of course, that is something as well, but we can negotiate, just like other countries are making the approach to negotiate. Our trade deficit with the U.S. is not so much, so it gives us room to be able to negotiate and have a balanced and win-win trade situation. We can also collaborate in setting up cross-border processing for some of the products that we have here. We can send them in there, process, re-export, and then take advantage of that. Mexico supplies a lot of agricultural products to the U.S., and you can see the tariff level that is it's pretty high, very high. So with what we have now, all we need to do is step up our game and be able to move into that gap that will be created as a result of what is happening between U.S. and Mexico. You look at Vietnam, where they've imposed tariff as high as 68%. There are areas, products there that Nigeria has, that Vietnam has, that we can take advantage of that also and enter into the markets. But generally, it's a wake-up call for us also to look at what we are doing holistically, see how we'll be able to make our export more competitive, provide the right infrastructure, and if that is in place, power, good roads, logistic, our ports services, ensuring that we can get our products into the ports at the right time to be able to meet shipments, the deadlines and all of that. So those are some of the areas that we need to improve on and then take advantage of what this tariff regime presents to us. And then, of course, also it also tells us that we need to look at, in processing even some of the goods or exporting them, we have to develop internal consumptions, because if you have a situation where you've processed or you have goods that you're exporting, and then you have barriers to exporting it to those countries, what are they doing with it? We have to look at how do we develop internal consumptions, and developing our internal consumption. Nigeria is a huge market in itself, and some of this product, and I can give specific example of cocoa, for example. The cocoa sector is huge. Several billions in terms of the complete value chain. But what Nigeria is earning from it by exporting just raw cocoa beans is insignificant compared to the whole value chain of the export. So, but if we have a culture of consumption in Nigeria, which other countries have done, you will probably even have to have a reversed situation. Probably we will need to even import cocoa pods to be able to process and provide cocoa. And cocoa powder, cocoa drink can be integrated into the school feeding programs, which provides nutrition, the valued and needed nutrition to our children and the population. So we have to look at both. You're looking at the export, you're also looking at developing internal capacity to consume, and then, of course, that means we must have purchasing power. So we have to look at it holistically to be able to provide and take advantage of what this has provided to us.
Taking a look at the events for this gala night, I see that you're going to be honoring some notable Nigerians, Afe Babalola being among them, Prince Arthur Eze as well, for their contributions to the Nigerian business environment. Just to talk to entrepreneurs, because you did talk right now about our local consumption. One other thing locally that many people have been worried about is our ease of doing business here in our business environment, considering two major issues, of course, power and security. But let's talk a little bit about business people in Nigeria. How can they, get to the point where they are contributing so immensely to the economy, such that your agency is able to now take a look at them and say, look, these people have been very instrumental to the growth of our economy. How do we get more business people to be like the people you're going to be honoring at this event?
Yes, thank you very much. And I think for us, the individual and organizations we're going to be honoring, we've looked at them, sat down, had a panel to look at their contributions. And I want to probably hone in here an example of someone who has done fantastic, Afe Babalola, who we're honoring. We took a tour, an extensive tour of the Afe Babalola University, first-class university that he has established. But not only that, beyond that, the entrepreneurship program that they have, Afe Babalola University has an industrial park. And that industrial park has over 7 factories, giving value addition to various products. They have a cassava processing plant, fufu production, starch, pharmaceuticals, spices. This is great. It provides employment. It provides a training ground for students who are going through that place. They also have a farm where they grow what they need. They grow and process. So these are things that, it's providing opportunity in the complete value chain. and not only making profit for themselves, but also providing employment, also teaching the next generation of would-be entrepreneurs that will take advantage. So, you know, it's a complete ecosystem: education, employment, training, and getting students ready for the next life, for the next stage of their life, that will enable them to contribute to the economy of Nigeria. So, you know, we're encouraging and calling on other entrepreneurs to look at this kind of, look at what Afe Babalola University and Afe Babalola himself is doing, and calling on them. And so much more. Prince Arthur Eze, I mean, there's an oil and gas sector. There are major players who have contributed to the economy of Nigeria, both in Nigeria, in Sao Tome and Principe, where they're the major oil company there as well. We've also looked at agencies that were Nigerian Shippers Council, the custom, who have provided a lot of ease of doing business in terms of promoting trade. You know, of course, there are lots of impediments there, or challenges, I may call them: power, logistic, good roads, getting your goods delivered on time for shipment, especially when you're looking at export. And then power, of course, without energy, there's nothing that you can really do. And for every increment percentage in energy availability in the country, or energy supply, provides about 3% increase in the GDP. This is proven, this is tested, so we need to look at that sector, which is really a big challenge for now. You know, so for entrepreneurship, we encourage them, in as much as there are challenges presents opportunities. And this is our message, and this is what we encourage, and then we call on people to join the chamber. We have a lot of programs that are designed and detailed to helping to achieve the purpose and objective of businesses in Nigeria.
Yeah, it's interesting you say challenges present opportunities, because some people, I mean, you also highlighted the fact that you might be seeing advantages in the tariff regime. You want to say any that you could be seeing potentially? Yes,
of course. Presently, because of the various challenges in processes for export, margins for businessmen who are in exports are very, very thin. And then for products, prices are international. So where already you're working on sharp margins, and then you're confronted with increment or tariff, you're confronted with a tax which is not there before, which either will give you an advantage. Then when that tariff is there, of course, it makes your product less competitive, or even no profit at all in that sense. But then if you look at the opportunities, will be to look at other products that we probably have comparative advantage, and then see how you will, play in that. I'll give you an example of textile under the AGOA regime, where export under AGOA attracts zero tariffs. And then for other countries that are exporting, there are some tariffs that are as high as 23% going into the U.S. market. So if we are at 14% tariff, but we are still able to produce and get those materials into that market at 14%, we're still better off than those who are doing it at 23% and are probably faced with a higher tariff now, even though the tariffs have been paused. But we don't know what is going to happen and what level that is going to reduce to at the end of the day. So, but then government needs to do a lot more. Revive our cotton and garment sector in general, which is one of the biggest employers of labor, and it's an ecosystem that involves so many, from production, from cotton to dye, to the sewing itself, to the making of the primary fabric and all of that. So it's to look at it and see which one we have very good comparative advantages, and focus on maybe it's 1, 2, 3. As against saying, okay, we have the potential to do all of this, but we're not doing anything in it. But if we focus on 1, 2, 3, and then we can give it our best shot and do all that we need to do, and I can tell you it's very possible to achieve this.
Well, Mr. Sharif Balogun, we have to thank you so much for coming on the program this morning. We wish you a very successful celebration as the Nigeria-America Chamber of Commerce, a very successful celebration, and you a very, very successful tenure as the new president of the Nigerian-American Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Thank you once more for coming on Sunrise Daily.
Thank you so much for having me, Okwe. Thank you so much, channels, and we hope to see you there at that event. And thank you for the good wishes. Thank you so much.